Good. And this is the recording for February 11th from Ren Sonoma Hub. And I'm assuming now that I've corrected, I made a change to my Zoom so that this is what will come up, the three of us at the same time, because there's no need to keep flipping from one person to another.
Yeah.
So anyway, here we are.
I'm saying, okay. Okay, you can record it. All right. So, good morning and I'm a little, you're right, Dina. I'm kind of concerned about Johnny.
Did you email him?
Well, he was on the email for that Pat sent out.
Yeah,
I asked something about him.
You sent a note to him. You asked about
Yeah,
it.
I sent a note. Didn't hear back, which is really unusual for him. He's usually
Yeah,
right there. So I hope he's all right.
yeah. Me too.
We wouldn't have any way of knowing if he isn't, so.
Too bad we don't have any other contact. Wait, I do have a contact. I might have a contact with the AI. Oh, not the AI, but the other, the alternative finance, the alternative money.
Right.
I'll check that out.
So I'll just talk a little bit about what I'm doing today. I'm putting the statement that we put together. We might just go over it to make sure that we don't want to change a word or two.
Okay,
I'd like to run through that so it isn't just me.
good idea.
And I'll be presenting it and connecting with the people on BioFi. And it's a double thing of learning about what they're doing and what I had to sign up for a special group that's connected to them that will be a group of people who are, oh, good, here's Kristen.
yay.
Well,
Oh, Kristen.
Hello.
okay.
Hi, I totally forgot the time. I thought we were going to be at 11. So I just got out of the shower and I'm like, oh, whoops.
Oh, good. I'm so glad that you're here. We were hoping you would be.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I knew. And pardon me, I have a torn rotator cuff, so I'm like icing.
Oh dear.
Listen, we're just glad that you're here.
Yeah, good to see you.
Anna here and Dina and
Yeah.
Pat.
Yeah.
So we're a smaller group this morning than usual.
Okay.
But we were really looking forward to talking to you and making this connection and hearing from you. So I was just going to go over our statement quickly, and then we can.
Yes.
You're the main subject for today.
Yeah, I could give you co-host, and if you want to, do you want to put it up in your chair, or do you want me to do it? I can do it too.
Can you do it?
Yeah, okay, I'll do it.
I don't need.
So let me just go to
that sort of thing.
yeah, let me just go to my email and get it from this morning. You have it this
Yeah,
morning.
I just sent it.
So I'll just get it again. I'll get it again. Hold on a
It
second.
should be right before.
Yeah, here it is right here. Hold on a second. I will get it and I'll pull it up. Okay, and then download. Let me download it. And then I'll put it up here. I'll make room for it. Take me a minute. Just take me a second here. And all right. And
So Kirsten, you're in a yurt.
I am in a yurt.
Yeah, beautiful.
Thank you.
okay.
I'm working on my loom.
Okay, let me get it now. And we'll do a let's see here. I have to do a share. And should be okay. Can you see?
Okay.
You
Can
got
you
it?
see this? So Kirsten, you've probably already seen this, but
I am
just,
sorry, I did not have a chance. There are so many things going on all at once.
well, let's just
I
do
haven't,
it.
but I can skim really fast, so go for it.
So you can read it. I don't want to read it out loud. I think we're okay with the first part.
You want somebody to read it, or do you want to just each of read it for, because I can read it, you know. I have a
Yeah,
baritone voice.
I can read it. Let me do it.
Okay,
And if you want
good.
to change anything, or
Yeah,
you
we'll stop you. We'll
change
stop you.
word, stop me. What if we had a community center, a place to convene and collaborate to support efforts to regenerate our local air, soil, and water, agriculture, and culture? Our region is graced with groups and individuals who are striving to restore the damage to an area Luther Burbank once described as the chosen spot of all this earth as far as nature is concerned. The list of challenges is long, and each project demands focused attention. But we also need to gather together to create a new story that combines and inspires regenerative activities and offers a vision and an action plan for a collective future that supports a healthy life for our children and grandchildren. Such a center could also provide our communities with greater local resilience and independence from a profit-driven economic political system that seems to be on the verge of collapse. Is that all right?
Yeah, it sounds good to me.
Okay. A
Everyone-
bioregion is a distinct geographical area defined by natural boundaries such as watersheds, mountain ranges, or ecosystems, rather than arbitrary political lines. It encompasses the unique combination of climate, geology, flora, fauna, and earlier human cultures that have evolved in harmony with these natural systems.
Good.
The Marin Sonoma Bioregional Group was birthed when members of the 350 Sonoma Regenerative, I don't know about this, agriculture group,
I don't know.
along with the regenerative-minded activists from Marin. I
Yeah.
don't,
Yeah,
I'm not sure. Joined the Design School for Regenerating Earth's 6-month learning journey for birthing bioregional centers, led by Joe Brewer and Penny Hypo from their community in Barajar, Colombia. Their program builds on years of bioregional organization and connects groups and individuals from around the world. These learning centers are at various stages of development. Do you know what I would add here, maybe in this country? Some like, because it's really been going on in Europe.
yeah. So what do you want to check? You want to add something there?
So I would just change it there in this country.
At the beginning of what sentence?
Let's see.
Well,
Some
Say
like-
the last sentence.
like Regenerate Cascadia or the Greater Toronto bioregion in the United States.
Oh, in the United States,
Organizing for many years.
right here? Like
Yeah,
that?
in the United States.
But are they in the United States?
No, well, they are more or less.
Because-
What, excuse me?
Well,
That's right.
right, Toronto
It
is
stretches
in
up
Canada.
into British Columbia, right? You're
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Cascadia goes up through British BC.
So I'm just trying to say, I just was in.
What
a
about
Zoom-
North America? Some like Regenerate Cascadia or the Greater Toronto region by region in North America. How about
Yeah,
that?
we're in the North American continent. That's kind of
Yeah.
like a place. You're
Right, I
not
would
necessarily
agree.
introducing Turtle Island right now, but Turtle Island has been a term that's often been used for North
Right.
America. I'm not sure how much consensus we have on that. But whatever. The North
Yeah,
American.
I like that, Kristen, but this is going out to people who aren't
Yes.
necessarily in that
Yeah.
take yet.
How's that? Greater North American continent. That's okay? Can you see it right here?
Uh-huh.
Is that all
Some
right?
like Regenerate Cascadia or the Greater Toronto bioregion. Let's take the greater out. I
Oh,
would just say in North America. Let's
No,
keep it.
not that great.
great. Oh, in North America. Oh,
Just the North American continent.
Yeah. Okay, how's
I've
that?
been organizing for many years.
Are you saying the greater, what's it called? It's not Toronto.
It's called it's this is what it is.
That's
It's
the name. What?
it's this Toronto.
No. It's Toronto.
It's K Toronto. It's TKARONTO. The Greater K Toronto Bioregion. That's how it's spelled. I'll check.
Where did you hear that?
That's if you go on the platform, you'll see it. Greater K Toronto. That's the Native American name of that region.
Oh, okay. They got that on their platform.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll confirm it for you.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Highlight that to confirm their actual name.
Okay. I like that. Marin Sonoma has a long history as a defined bioregion stretching thousands of years into the indigenous past of the Coast Miwok and Southern Pomo people who tended this land to support one of the largest populations on the continent. Their population, do we want to go here? This is what,
This is what we had earlier.
yeah, do we want to keep that?
Sounds good to me. I mean,
Their population was tragically decimated by disease, slavery, and violence. This I have a little bit of a mixed feeling about that. I mean,
Okay.
it's fine because I wrote it, but I'm
maybe
wondering if it's
Okay.
relevant to what this
look
is.
at what happens if we let me do this. How about if I put it in like this and as leave it out and see what it sounds like. And if you want it in, we can put it back in. So look at that
Okay,
paragraph from the populations on the continent to the next sentence. In recent decades,
we would just take tribal members,
okay,
take out surviving.
yeah. Okay, let's see if I do that. I take that out. So let's see how that reads.
Okay.
In recent decades, tribal members, yeah.
Yeah. Tribal members have reorganized, gained federal recognition, and are creating projects of restoration and renewal because everybody knows they were devastated. And
Yeah.
I'm not sure that that's important.
Yeah.
That was something that, yeah. Okay, let's take it out.
Okay,
Wait, before you do that.
yeah,
Because you have the final sentence in this paragraph that says we're committed to learning deeply about this history and determine, so this history, what history? So you've named the history in the
oh, I
above.
see, that's
So
true.
you don't have the history there.
No,
You
about
have
their
to pick that out too.
I think you can, I would keep history about their history because that is important. It's how they tended the land, how they did it. That's critical to what we're doing. So tribal members have reorganized to learn deeply about their history. We can say their history, THEIR.
Okay, wait a minute, where are we here? We are committed to learning deeply about their history.
Their,
How's that?
and to determine how we can be in right relationship. Okay, I would just take out that sentence.
What sentence? The
Their
red,
population,
the one that's red?
yeah,
Okay, I'll take this out
and
and
the surviving.
surviving.
Okay, that takes it straight to our commitment to them and their past, Okay,
Are you you got all that? I mean, do we have it?
yeah,
Well, good.
Not all
Okay.
tribes have federal recognition around here.
Some have gained, yeah.
they
tribal
are
communities,
gaining.
some have gained federal recognition. Should we say that?
Yeah,
Oh, good.
oh, I would just say tribal members have reorganized, some have gained federal recognition.
Yeah. And
And all are creating projects of restoration and renewal.
Okay, good. Yes, because that's certainly happening here with the Miwok that are.
Right,
don't have
totally.
recognition.
We are currently meeting with groups and individuals surgery and our region to learn more about all groups we've done. Now, do you think that's all right?
We are
Is there
currently
anything
meeting
else
with
we
groups
want to put in that paragraph?
in our region to learn more about their various accomplishments and needs and to discuss our bioregional project. Well, that's what we're doing, are we? I mean, you check
Right,
with,
all groups we've talked with so far have shared a need for financial and community support. Is that okay? Do we want to just leave that?
yeah, that comes up, that certainly comes up here where I am, so.
Okay,
Financial support is is key.
our learning center will launch this spring with projects and individuals who see the value of a bioregional learning center committed to building greater local resilience and strengthening community support and action. Initially, at least, our bioregional learnings, I'm repeating it. Our gatherings, I think we could just say, rotate among the participants. The members will determine how often the group will meet and which group will host the next meeting. We welcome new members who are interested in helping the Marin Sonoma team become a multi-generational group with a wide range of experience and skills. Now, is this all right? Contact us at Pat for Marin. I put my name down for Sonoma, and Kirsten, I put your name down for Mendocino.
Don't
If there's
do it right
people,
now. No.
you don't want your name. Your
No,
email.
no. I mean, I need to have my moment to introduce myself and where I'm at and all of that.
Totally. I just, that's what
Myself
I
on a
want.
piece of paper and I don't know where it's the paper going.
Okay, so let's
No.
take you out. You can contact us at Pat.
Oh, I would just want to say, what about until we change it, what about for Anna to be Sonoma and Mendocino?
Sure.
Okay, so let's just say we take that out for now, and Sonoma and Mendocino. And there was something else I wanted to say. Oh, what I'm wondering about is, yes, that we're going to be rotating, and the idea that is implied that we will meet in for real, not virtually, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but I'm wondering, as an initial, does it matter as our first meeting, would we maybe set up virtually, or depending on what kind of response we get from people, or do we need to say anything about that, or?
But say that again, Pat.
Okay, so what I'm wondering about, let's say that we get some response, but somebody says, I can't make that. Can we do our initial meeting virtually? If somebody, you may get some response like that. So I'm just wondering if we
No,
could.
we could have a virtual aspect perhaps if somebody, but I think we need to stay. My feeling is it should be in person from the beginning.
Yeah,
So we're at each other's sites.
yeah,
We're seeing what the people are
Yeah.
doing. Connecting is so
Okay.
different than being, I am so tired of having
Yeah.
to do this,
Right.
as opposed to sitting with you. It's
okay.
a different process.
So, okay, so we went through it. How
I'll go through it finally and I'll just post it. And I'll let you know what I learn about the BioFi people when I post it.
Okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna save this, and I'm gonna when we get done, I'm gonna just do a spell check just to check it out, and
Yeah.
I'll email it to you so you have it.
Good.
I email it to everybody. I'll email it to you, and let's put it in our what do you call it? Our Google sheet.
Yeah.
Now the other thing is, we already have a statement in our platform for our hub. Is this the new one, or is this something? Okay, so
It should go into, it should replace,
I'll do that, replace the one that's on there now.
right?
Is that good with everybody? Okay. So let me save this then. Save as, save, because we made some changes. All right, so I got it.
Okay, thank you. Good,
Okay.
I feel like that's cleared up a bit and I'm happy to turn it, unless Dina has something she wants to share. We can hear from Kirsten.
Yes.
I think
Gina-
we should replace the old with this February version.
Yeah,
Yeah.
What happened to it? Didn't say it.
So where is that one that Pat just edited?
he's emailing it to us, Dina.
Okay.
I saved it. Why didn't it come up that way? Hold on a second. Damn it. Do you want to get it? Do I have to do it now? Can I do it after?
No, you can do it later,
Okay.
as long
Yeah.
as you got it.
Yeah, and then I'll replace it in our Google Docs.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't.
I'm just calling it, we had a version January 2025. Now I'm calling this version February 2025 so we can identify when we've updated.
Okay. All right.
All right, so welcome.
Oh,
We're
thanks.
so delighted. I'm really looking forward to having a personal conversation with you too, because I want to hear about where you grew up in the whole area. I'm so connected with that whole
Yeah.
range of Mendocino, from my own background,
Yeah.
born in Willits and all that. I wrote to you.
Yes, you did. Yeah. You've got
So
roots in
I'm looking forward to meet.
Otter Valley and
Yeah, well, maybe you and I can get together and meet with each other at some point here on a more personal level, or I can come up, who knows? So, but tell us
Well,
you and how you want to be involved and so forth. Because we're delighted to have you if you can feel comfortable with what we're doing.
well, I I want to speak personally about how as I've written to you in the emails, have experience with bioregionalism really kind of through the late 80s and 90s. And then my focus shifted, a lot of political focus kind of shifted also at that time. And my personal life changed. So I am pleased to see this resurgence.
Yeah.
And absolutely awed, like in the past couple of months, how I just started poking around in social media to I wanted to find where people were organizing, because of the election results and all of that. And I had noticed, so much expression of, dismay and concern and all of the feelings, but also commitment to change and to doing what we need to do to take care of each other, to build solidarity, to do all of that stuff. So I have the kind of personality, I suppose, proclivity to networking. I'm very interested in like what are people doing and where are they doing it and what's happening. So through all of this, I found the Hilo bioregioning sites and also the design school. That's how I
Right.
found you guys. Um, and it's been interesting. I've been having some conversations with old friends who were bioregionalists back in the day. Some of whom are like excited about this and some of whom are like, nah, not sure, which is fair enough, right?
Yeah.
And also, I have been making connections with people through Hilo, um, because I'm trying to find out, well, especially when it comes to the funding aspect, I'm like, how is that going to work? I don't get it. I really don't get it. And as I mentioned before, I, grew up in what we call semi-intentional community. and that joke is totally on us, which is a whole story. But, you know, it was part of the Back to the Land movement, and people created community, and I was definitely part of it as a child. And it's been through a lot of changes. And it continues to go through changes. I realize in the process over the last few months, like I kind of spread out my awareness to like find out what's going on where and try to find the hubs, you know, and I went to the Bioregional Weaving Day of Hope. That was really super amazing. So it was really amazing what's happening in Europe. Like, wow, that's cool.
I was at that. That was amazing.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And really inspiring. And then I've been sort of following other threads, especially because I'm trying to do this research on like, well, what does it actually mean to somehow create a regenerative economy? I have so many questions about that because I just don't know how we shift our economy from extractive to regenerative on a really brass tacks local level. So one of the things that has been going on for me is that my own life story with bioregionalism has led me to realize a modern way of talking about this is like we're nested. We're in like nested fractals. That's kind of how watersheds work, you know? So to do the organizing on a larger level, there is the sort of like overview that you might have over an area. Like what area are we talking about, right? And then within that, it's like, okay, so maybe and we had some conversations about this, like, so maybe the area includes a variety of watersheds, right? But then in each watershed, there are the main tributaries, and then there's the creek watersheds beyond
Yeah.
that. And that's when you get down to the neighborhood level. And that's where my understanding of bioregionalism is very much about like, you know, coming into place, you know, landing in place and connecting with your environment, but also your people environment. Like, where does your water come from is one aspect of it. And that's like a key point of, you know, how do you home, you know? But then the other part of it is like, who is in your watershed? And so for me to get involved in a larger, you know, expanded idea of a bioregion, I feel like the only real way for me to connect with it is to work from the local out. And that's really following the thread of bioregionalism. You know, instead of imposing a structure over people, it's like, well, where does it come from the beneath, you know? So to that point, I have been starting to communicate with some of my community members a little bit here and there about this, you know, some of whom have experience with bioregionalism and a bunch don't actually. So, you know, because we have like about 200 people in our watershed community, you know, which is a creek shed that's part of a tributary, that's part of the, you know, so that's where I need to focus. And so it sometimes feels slow. Like I feel like it, or I want to say this in a way, it's like both keeping an ear to the ground, as it were, like paying attention to what's happening on the watershed, on the, you know, on the river shed level, you know, as well as the bioregional level, as well as the continental level, and then understanding that there's a movement towards planetary level, which is like mind-blowing, you know. But staying in touch with those things and yet grounding it in place. And so for my own personal life, I'm realizing that's what I need to focus on. My own home community is going through a generational shift and and we have like everybody, like all of us in California, we have a fire ecology problem. So we're like, how can we tend to that on a really local level so that, we move from, we do our defensible space, but then the shared forests that we have, how do we really treat them collectively so that there's space for all the biodiversity as a tenet of bioregionalism, as well as, we come into more balanced relationship. So I don't know how much energy at this moment I have for doing this level of organizing. I feel like I need to start with that kind of core. And I've been having some conversations about what our immediate needs are as a community. So I'm like, okay, let's start focusing with that. Perhaps what I would do is, and I don't know when, like, because I have to work in a collective. So I have to work through the group mind. We have to come all along together. It's not just my, although I can be a leader in it, but it can't be all on me, And so it's like I'm disseminating those kinds of conversations and seeing where we're going as a community and as a watershed, and then to network with our other neighbor tributaries, and then into the overall watershed system. I have a friend on our community who is a GIS mapper, and I don't know
But
a GIS mapper. So she's
Mhm.
so it's called Legacy, the Landscape Connection. Let me actually see if I can pop it into the chat really quick. I just gotta. Now we have her and website. Now, of course, she's got a lot of jobs currently. Back to Zoom, back to chat. But she's done a lot of mapping of this region over
Wonderful.
the 90s.
Mhm.
If you can make me co-host, I can share a screen and show you a map that she just sent me just of the Russian River watershed.
Love it.
I'll make you co-host.
Okay. Ooh, let's see. Okay, now I got to get that page up that I want to get. Let's see. Okay.
Okay, that's good.
In the process of, I have so many tabs open right now. Okay, let's see here. How do I move it around? Okay, so I have a couple of different documents that she's shown me. This green area, you see this?
Mhm.
That's Greenfield Ranch.
Wow.
So
Okay.
we are this watershed. This is the Church of the Golden Rule, or the Golden Rule community. Another, core watershed. So you can see this is the boundary of the watershed here. And
Right.
goes into Potter Valley. This is Redwood Valley. This is not filled in, but that's Lake Mendocino. Then we go through Ukiah
So
Townlet.
is Ukiah actually in it or beyond it?
Beyond what?
No, the water,
Well, let's clarify some terms here, because we've got, and just entertain me here, because I think what we have feeders, tributaries is what they're called, major tributaries. So this is
Right.
the Russian River right here, the main blue, right? Goes down through Hopland, does this wonderful little dog leg, and then goes
down
out.
with us. Right.
Right. And so I'm just giving you an idea of where we are in context of all of that, right? So I'm going to
Mhm.
do, let's see, this one. Oh, it's going to have to think. All right. Woo. These are all the creeks.
Wow.
Wonderful.
Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Woo, all the way out.
Look at that.
Wow.
Wonder.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Cool.
And I've asked her to put other layers in it. She's been busy with other things, so I don't want to bother her too much. But like this area down here where my cursor is, that's like Katati.
Yeah,
Isn't that wild? So all the way up from, Potter Valley, Redwood Valley, the ridges up here, all the way down to, this is Jenner, that's Katati, Healdsburg in the mix of all of that. Let's see about this one. This is the names. I asked her for the names of the major tributaries. The
Mhm.
Russian River East Fork, Forsyth Creek is here, York Creek, Feliz and Pieta and Kaminsky and Big
Quest.
Well, yeah, all of those guys, Santa Rosa Creek, Mark West, Austin. So she's a definite resource in terms of, and she knows, she's got other watersheds as well that, so I'm not sure how much she's got access to the Marin County ones, but I just wanted to clarify that.
Yeah, Kirsten, I'd like to know how I could get something like this for where I am.
Well, I mean, you can contact her via her website, which I put in the chat.
Yeah, that's your website. Okay, yeah,
And
thanks.
then I would, like I have to acknowledge, like she's got a lot of projects going on that she's
Yeah.
for. So
Right.
I don't want to assume.
I have something for Marin, but not so elaborate like this. This is really good.
Yeah, well, it's not that hard because you just, it's all a computer system where, you just plug in what layer you're looking at,
I see.
Um, and you can see on her website, she's got some previous maps that she's put up.
Okay.
I was kind of wanting her to put in more cities or towns. She basically, I guess, did the Mendocino ones.
Yeah.
But not the Sonoma ones. So I just wanted to identify, like, this is where we're at in the context of the bioregion. And that in itself, in terms of organizing a bioregion, just the Russian River is huge. It's a major job to do. And in fact, honestly, it's a big job just to organize the neighborhoods that are on Forsyth Creek. We actually have a tributary to York Creek as part of our little world. See, it's like we're right there on the edge of that. And as I said, again, it's like even a lot just to get the landowners in this one little area to, to coordinate efforts in terms of on that watershed level. It's not, and we're pretty like of that mindset, but I think that the thing that is important is to be really clear about what the goals are. The short-term first kind of piece of the goal, and then with a lot of room for where it's going to go from there. So it sounds to me, and I can stop the share now. Where's my stop share? Here we go. Boom. It sounds to me from the statement that you guys were just going over, that you're talking about creating a bioregional learning center as sort of the first building block. Is that correct?
Yeah, well, we're discovering, I mean, we're really at the beginning of this. So you're coming in on the ground floor. I mean, we're building and thinking about it. But beginning to pull together some of the local groups that are doing regenerative work, that are interested in bioregionalism, and will begin out. The idea is forming the circle and letting the circle determine what they do, what they need, how we're going to build. It isn't that we have to have it all together.
Right. And it's impossible anyway.
Our job in this hub is to pull together the different groups. Now we're working in our own regions.
Yeah.
Pat's down there, we're here. The region that we're Marin, there are several layers of what I would call bioregion. One is the watersheds, which, you've shown us so beautifully. And that would be the Marin Sonoma, the Sonoma Mendocino thing. But there is something about the actual topography, the land itself, the connections, through forestry and through other aspects that make the Marin Sonoma also connected.
Mhm.
Oh, Marin has its own kind of unique little water system, but it isn't part of the Delta. It
Mhm.
isn't. It belongs here. And so in the past, the Coast Miwok and the Southern Pomo
Mhm.
were connected within a bioregional group. I mean, they were separate tribes, but they were bioregionally identified. And I need to go deeper in this. I haven't talked to Greg Saris yet. I've met him in the past, but I wanted to have more on the ground before I connected at that level. But Greg is very aware of the whole history and how it connects, and
Yeah.
we're hoping to become somewhat involved with them because they're a major
Yeah.
financial supporter of the regenerative work that's beginning to go on in this area.
True.
And there's a huge, Dina and I and Pat went to,
You did. You went to that.
we had a great talk with the Laguna Foundation people. That
Great.
one of my prior husbands was deeply involved in the whole water thing through the Laguna, and they have an amazing plan
Mm.
for restoring the Laguna, which if you've ever read what that was like 200 years ago, the first time I read it, I just sat and cried.
Oh.
It was so incredible.
Oh.
The wildlife and the what was here, and it's heartbreaking. At any rate, that's what we're doing, is beginning to pull together some people.
Mhm.
I'm just stepping into the BioFi, and that I'm just getting involved, but we've connected with Matt Jorgensen, who
Mhm.
is on the BioFi
Mhm.
website as one of the members, but he's,
Brian Grayton?
yeah, the Grayton Project. And he's going to be a core beginning
Nice.
person in this project, I think. Wonderful group out at the Solar Punk Farms.
Wow.
Some great guys. They're doing that work there in Kernville. And so we're just starting to, and then I think what I bring to it at my age and what I've done, I was a Waldorf teacher forever. And then I was working, Dina and I have been working together for how long, Dina? Golly, I don't even know.
Since probably around Standing Rock, so 2016-ish.
Yeah, and so, and she's an amazing on the ground organizer, by the way.
Yay.
It's pulling together the people that we know from our climate activism over the years that we know are doing the work, and presenting it to them and seeing who wants to start this process.
Mhm.
I see the context of it and the direction of it as coming from the group,
Mhm.
the larger support, the larger community of what we need. And then all of us being connected locally. And I
Mhm.
think it's very exciting that you have the community around you, because you've already you've grown up with and had something that's very precious, and that most of us have lost, right? Which is that sense of circle. It's also individualized now. Pat and I have been talking about that. How do we connect Marin with, the work Dina and I are doing with what Pat's doing? So we're all in process with it.
Got it.
You're coming in on the absolute ground floor. And I think it's very exciting what you already know. You have much you can help us with. And in terms of your own understanding. And I'm most excited about looking at the way in which we connect with each other and process. I know that Joe has done a lot of work with pro-social. And it's got to be a new kind of process, not a top-down, but how do we really build a group vision? Yeah, Pat, go. Just interrupt me.
Yeah, I just want to, it's 22 after, so I want to have
When are
something.
when are we going to end?
Oh, I thought we were going to be on for an hour, 10:30 to 11:30, and
Okay, we
unless
could
you want
be
to stay on longer,
longer.
but you could stay on. I've got some things to do, but I wanted, the way I see it right now is that that map that Kirsten showed us,
By the way, I have to say,
what-
I have to get people straight on this right away. My name is pronounced Kirsten. Here,
say it again.
Kirsten,
Kirsten,
here,
her,
ear as in ear, Kirsten.
Kirsten. Did I get it?
Ah, sure, you betcha.
Kirsten. Okay. Well, the map she showed, that shows a well-defined watershed. It's the Russian River watershed. To me, if that could be to me, it makes sense that to be the starting point. To fill in below in the Sonoma area, the organizations that you've already identified, and then the short-term goal is to organize, to connect the local groups that are already organizing.
Right.
And I totally agree. I mean, that's what I'm experiencing down here. Local, local, local. I mean,
Yeah.
and I think that a future goal would be to bring together that watershed and connect it culturally with the watersheds down in Marin. Some of them go into the bay and some of them go into,
Yeah.
the
It's the ocean, right?
and so right now, to me, the kernel concept is the Russian River watershed. That makes so much sense. It's right there.
Yes, and also there are other watersheds, you know what I mean? Like, I think that it's important to not to,
No, I know that. I mean, like, if you look at, see, this is very much like the Bay Delta watershed, the one that covers the San Joaquin, and it's huge. This is
Yeah.
what he's done, what Lawrence has done, right?
Right.
And I mean, it doesn't. I think that's a future goal. You can put it out there as a outline. It's a very attractive drawing thing. Okay, I'm up there with what you named some organizations, Anna. Okay, oh, I'm in this watershed. So that's a future thing we can connect with. So yeah, it makes sense for me to have this, to be part of this, and well, let's meet, go forward, that kind of thing.
I have one thing that's important if we're going to stop soon,
Yeah.
which is, Kirsten, are you familiar? We're going to be, at least Dina, I think Pat too, as Joe Brewer's running a course
How to organize.
in the mid-March to actually tell us how to organize, or we're sharing as a group how to put this on the ground and implement it. So we're
Can you-
going to be talking with Joe and Penny about how to do it as we're doing it. It'll be a place to bring the issues and the weaving and everything that we need to deal with. So are you at all interested in being part of that circle? It'll
well,
be every other week, it's not a huge commitment.
it's actually a huge commitment.
I know.
Yeah, and so yeah, I have a lot of things going on. Like I'm in seminary, I'm doing climate change chaplaincy, I've got a lot of irons in the fire that are very connected, but they're just different, they're different like pieces of the puzzle. And I want to go back to this question of or opportunity in mapping, because I think that what we're talking about is like once you have a picture of and I feel like watersheds are a really great like starting point because they're easily understandable. You can map them. You're like, up, this is where the water goes, right? it's not as if like, you know, Oak Woodlands is another aspect of the, another layer really of the bioregion,
Yeah.
or other features, right? So I just wanted to say that because there's those layers, those ecological layers, and then there's the human cultural layers because
Yes.
tribal territories, you know, and those are perhaps both historical tribal territories, you know, in terms of like long time ago, right? And then there's current reservations, and they're all sovereign nations, and they have their own networking and their own processes and a whole other thing because they are other nations, right? And then there is, you know, whatever layers of what I'll just call generally settler culture, but settler culture itself can comprise a variety of different kinds of communities, you know? So we already know that, especially in, you know, like I just know myself that in West Sonoma County, for instance, and I'm sure this is true also in Marin, and, you know, also in Mendocino, there are a lot of ecological minded organizations that have a track records, pretty amazing. Occidental Arts and Ecology, Earth Action Network,
Yeah,
Laguna Foundation, there's so many. And so it seems to me like partly is like this orientation of the map of like, okay, well, you know, uh, which watersheds are we talking about? Russian River is one of them, but it's not Marin. So if Marin's involved, which watersheds are those that you are encompassing? And not to say it can be fluid. It's water. You know, it just doesn't have to be, we don't have to be like cut and dry about it. We can be like,
Oh,
hey, this
yeah.
can be an area. And then it's really about networking the different organizations. And so it
Yes.
sounds to me like your the opening statement or whatever it is that you were working on earlier is a proposal for really kind of convening, maybe not, hopefully potentially physically, maybe potentially a place, like a location where this bioregional lives, you know, or maybe it's a bookmobile and travels around. I don't know. But, you know, you're talking about convening minds and networking and connecting and then keeping people in the loop and having some kind of communicative network. Because that's the kind of, it's really the noosphere of the bioregion, like
Yes.
how we stay in contact with each other so that we can resource share and et cetera, right? So I think that's what we're really talking about is a
right,
network capability.
absolutely. It's a networking. And what we're seeing, what I've seen is that there's a lot of wonderful activities and people, but they're all fairly siloed in some way.
Yeah.
And the connection with Greg Saris will be important because actually there's been some weaving going on there financially and supportively. So I just, Kristen, going forward, are you open to being a member from whatever level that you can participate every other week in this group so we can touch base and share back and forth? That we really,
I have to say that I'm really sorry, but at this moment, I have to be really careful about what I put my energy into. I want to stay apprised and I want to stay networked in. But I actually have to tend to some issues with my own home and community that are like primary because we're having some
yeah,
infrastructure issues that have to be focused on that is going to be groundwork. I mean, if it's treated correctly, I think at this moment it's a groundwork for further organizing and stuff, but
right.
it's kind of like this journey has reminded me how important it is to localize from there to be able to connect. So I right now I'll just say it's kind of like again with the water analogy, you know, it's like the flow is pulling me in to do some inner work. And I know I'll be coming back out again and I will be networking, but I need to pay attention to that need right
To
now.
stay in our feet,
I would love to stay in the feed. Yes, absolutely.
right,
And I will definitely be
for
bopping
you.
in. I haven't yet determined. I need to do some discernment about whether I want to do a how to bioregionally organize thing with the design school. But the thing is, we are going to be connected in the future. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I
Um,
feel,
so one place to a node I think that would be really important to connect with is basically the Mendocino Environmental Center, which is in Ukiah. So reach out to whoever is organizing that. And I can also, because I know those people, and just say, you know, to keep that live wire going to that is a they have a newsletter that goes out to a whole list of people that have been following it for a long time. So that way it's a place where you can reach out to other people, put the word out.
do you know, also, do you know Sherry Smith Berry? You know Sherry.
Yeah,
We've
not really,
talked with-
but
we
yeah.
met with her and talked, Dina and I met with her and talked with her
Oh,
and
nice.
made that connection, and I got a lot of resource from her.
That's wonderful.
For doing research myself and deepening my understanding. So Sherry will be involved, I think, and through her, the Dry Creek Rancheria folks, just north of, up in Healdsburg area, right? So, and also the Mendocino Environmental Center, okay? And at some point, you sound up to here, but at some point, Kirsten, I'd love to get together with you and just share my background, your background, our connection to the land and experiences there. I
That
mean,
sounds wonderful. You
I
have
have
my
a
email. So
5-generation connection to Kamshi.
that's amazing.
So it's
I would
Dina?
like to have a turn.
I go, Dina, quick.
Okay, so I understand the pool of doing things very close to home because that's where I feel drawn to do things in Sebastopol. But I think if you have the vision that a bioregion is not a definite line, it flows the way water does and the way and culturally too, who you're aligned to, like Sonoma and Marin are very aligned culturally, modern culture. And you have the insight to know how we need to strengthen all this community and care for the land and an alternative economy, then you have something to bring to this larger group, which I think the four of us have insight as to why we're struggling of trying to make these connections and do this weaving, because it's going to become important in the future.
Yes. So you are what are you saying? I mean
I'm saying you have something to offer by staying in touch.
and I definitely want to stay in touch. And I think that that's natural and that's what's going to happen. I need to do some discernment on what my my workload can be right now. And you know, and that's I feel that the best use of my energy right now is to really focalize on the local, and you know, which is literally like my creek shed, you know. And then, and it's not like it's going to be props pretty soon, I don't know. And then maybe reach out to some more headwaters organizations or connections with people really that are very local to me, in the headwaters of the Russian River, um, and then further on to the other parts of the Russian River, and then further on to the whole bioregion, right?
Right.
As a way of grounding and connecting the communication networks.
Yeah, then you would be part of the group that we're pulling together that may be meeting that are all local. I
Yeah,
mean, Matt's too busy to be in our group here. So are the solar punk farmers. People have their own projects, so you'll at least be in that circle that forms. And then if you have time, I would love to have you within our core group. We're just trying to make it happen.
yeah,
We're not we're not where it yeah, you see the layers.
I do. And it's like,
Group will determine its real content and process together. That's not something we're doing. We don't have to do that beforehand. We just have the vision of it being possible to
yeah,
organize. And it's also getting critical because of the situation politically.
I know.
We're in a crash and we need to build our resilience.
Yeah,
And
and my feeling about that actually is probably things are going to actually happen more rapidly than we can
Right.
imagine actually, which is scary, and it's an opportunity, you know.
Yeah.
So I think one of the earlier I had listened to a previous Zoom that you guys did, and I think Dina, you were talking about the Granges. And I have a friend who's involved on the state level with the Granges. And she's been working, I think, more somewhat regionally on working with the Grange organizations as potential disaster relief, centers. So there's that aspect of like being prepared for disaster, because disaster reorganizes us real fast, you know. So I feel like perhaps if your purpose is, or this core group's purpose is, as a convener, as an inviter and a convener, and a sort of a node for communication, not necessarily that everything has to pass through you, but that there's a resource base of contact people that are, and seeing them within the watershed systems, that that maybe one thing that I can offer is some contact points for my area to this. And I think that some of them are really obvious, like, organizations that are already doing international
Right.
like Earth Activist Network. So have anybody reached out to Starhawk?
Not yet. She's on my list.
Uh-huh. So yeah, she's got incredible resources. Plus she's a fantastic facilitator and a teacher facilitator
Right.
in
Right.
terms of different ways of going about, in the process part of it and the communication part of it. Plus she's absolutely devoted and dedicated and has a lot of track record in multicultural awareness and
Right.
all of that.
I've been following for years.
Yeah.
We've also connected Judy at Planet Drum.
Right.
She's been sharing information and we're sharing what we're doing with her.
Nice.
History. Yeah.
Maybe is the question about, it's kind of like, how can we disseminate information about these different groups and what they're doing? And if they're having a call out for, like, people come over here and do a thing here, like you were saying, like the tour at Solar Punk Farms or whatever, that can spread through the watershed.
All
And
right.
also, just knowing other pockets are having very localized things happening.
Yeah.
Acts as inspiration to keep going.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's also a whole bunch of mutual aid networks that are popping up. Like, I mean, have nothing to do with like bioregionalism specifically, but people are doing all kinds of amazing things.
Oh,
just
I
to
know. And
each other out.
there's many aspects of this that are community
Yeah,
based. Pat, I know you have to go, but
Thank you.
it's a great beginning. And Kirsten,
And maybe what I can do is like maybe pop in more like on a monthly basis or something, because I just don't know if I can commit to a
absolutely understand.
Yeah.
It's wonderful to meet you.
Sure.
Thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you. Yeah, and it's great to meet
And
you.
I
Anna, definitely like drop me a note if you're in Ukiah. I'm pretty homebound with a sense of like I have a teenage kid I'm raising, and I'm I can't like get up and just leave easily. So but also check out my friend Linda Gray's website on the legacy and see if you think that she might be a resource for mapping.
Yeah.
And I don't know, I mean, it'd be really great to get her hooked up with some, if there's the Bioregional Mapping Guild, you know, I don't know if there's any way of getting funding for mapping, because it is a thing and it takes time and effort and skill and technology,
we need I have a few younger people who may be able to help us with that if they can get freed up a little bit. So that's very meaningful. Thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll share with you whatever, if you're not in the course with Joe, and we can share basic processes. We don't all have to take the same course.
Right.
A couple of us can take it and share,
Right. Exactly. And that way, actually, we really diversify our energies. It's
Right.
like, focus
Totally.
over here, but we're going to stay in contact,
The main thing is that we're connected now. So,
Yes. Yes. Yeah, and we always
As
were.
always, Pat, for holding this meeting space for us.
Yeah. Yeah, it's nice to meet you, everybody.
okay, so, and I'll put it out.
Doing what you're doing, and I wanted to say thank you so much for the effort that's involved with this and the commitment to continue it, and I look forward to seeing what you guys come up with and connecting in and amplifying it where is appropriate and good.
Okay. This is good.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
it's been wonderful to watch your beautiful hair dry.
Whole time. I started out with like
You have great hair. Okay, wonderful.
All right.
Take care.
Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.